Hello friends! In this unit, we will continue to study the main stages of project planning. After you comprehend this module, you will be able to define the project activities, activity planning, activity time planning, determine the project activities by associating them with the project's expected outputs and the project aim, prepare the proper resource planning in line with your project activities, prepare the project's budget properly in order to undertake the project activities and achieve the project aim. Activity is defined as all the works, tasks, operations to be realized in order to achieve the project's aim and the proposed expected results or outputs. Activity planning is the planning of the works, tasks that are proposed to achieve the project aim. It involves managing the main and sub-activities, specifying the needed means and resources such as staff, technical equipment, etc., and contributing to determine the project's budget. Each activity is expected to lead a concrete output, impact, result, product, service, and expected to be associated with the project aim. Let's work on an example now. Our project aim is to increase the number of Erasmus mobility among the students. Our project activity can be to organize Erasmus information seminars to the students. So our identified concrete task is to organize seminar. Output of this activity can be increased knowledge among the students about the benefits and impact of Erasmus program. And the contribution of the activity to the project aim is to contribute to increase of international experience among students. As you see in this example, the activities aim to reach concrete outputs, and these outputs should strongly match with the achievement of the project's objective. So don't forget that there is a strong linkage relation between the project activities, outputs, and the project aim. The proposed main activities and sub-activities can be designed in a work package format. For example, we can have a work package on training the staff at international office. We can call this as one of the main activities as well. This work package can have the sub-activities of such as preparing the training material, determination of trainers, giving the training and evaluation of the training in order to assess the impact of the training on the participant staff members. Kartal, for example, if I add the design of the website to this work package, do you think it's okay?
I think design of the Erasmus website for students should be designed as a separate work package. This is not directly related with the activity of training the staff at international office. So it should not be designed as a sub-activity here, but should be designed as a separate work package.
Okay, you are right. We cannot put this because we have to put this work package as a separate work package because it involves design of the website for Erasmus students and it should be a separate work package. You are right. Thank you, Kartal. Okay, so now let's look at the activity time planning. Activity time planning is indeed the roadmap of our project. It's not only a tool to monitor and evaluate the smooth functioning and management of the activities, but also contributes to provide a measure of progress and performance. Activity time planning demonstrates the realistic estimate of the duration of each activity when it starts and ends, the dependency between the activities, is it the activity dependent on the startup or completion of another activity, responsible person or institution to undertake the activity. The activity time planning can be shown in a graphical format which is called Gantt chart. It shows the summary of activity and time planning to monitor the progress of the project. In Gantt chart, activities are listed on the left-hand column and the rows show the time frame allocated for each activity. They show when the activities start and end, who is going to be responsible from each activity, the sequence and dependencies between the activities. What about resource planning? The first step and prerequisite of the project budget is to prepare the resource planning. Resource planning does not aim to determine and calculate the cost of the activities, but to determine the resources, inputs, and needs required to realize the activities. The resource planning estimates the required inputs and means necessary to undertake the activities. Resources can be listed in 4 categories: human resources, resources for travel and allowance, physical resources such as equipment, material, hardware, and other resources. Please study the example and also the key points given in your lecture notes about how to make resource planning for an activity. Now, project budget. Project budget is the table which demonstrates how the financial resources of the project will be utilized and allocated among the activities. Budget planning helps to estimate the total cost of the project and determine the available financial resources. A proper and accurate budget can only be prepared if the project has successfully planned with clearly indicated main and sub-activities and has well-prepared resource planning in detail. We can generalize the main budget items under 6 different categories. 1. Human resources and staff costs, travel and subsistence, equipment, material, hardware. 4. Project office costs. 5. Other costs. 6. Administrative costs. So let's work on an example and try to calculate the estimated budget of the activity training the staff at international office. You remember this activity has the sub-activities of preparing the training material, determination of trainers, giving the trainings, and evaluation of the training. Now, in order to calculate the estimate cost for this activity, we have the budget item column, we have the unit, we have number of units, then we will look at the cost per unit, and then the total cost. So let's start with the human resource. Okay, probably we will have a project coordinator here. So 1 is human resource. I'm sorry for my handwriting. So it's 1.1 will be project coordinator. Probably we will have a coordinator for this activity. The unit he or she will work for maybe monthly. So the unit is month. And number of units, let's have he will work for 2 months. Cost per unit, so how much will be the monthly salary of the project coordinator for full time? Maybe he will take or she will take 500 euros. So it makes 1,000 euros for the project coordinator. And we will have, of course, trainers here. So 1.2 trainers. Let's have 2 trainers, and let's think that they will work for 2 months. So our unit is again month. And since we have 2 trainers, it's going to be 4 months. They will work 2 months each. And let's have 400 euros, and it will make then in total 1,600 euros we will pay for the trainers. So let's look at our subtotal for human resource. It's gonna make 2,600. This is my one item. So now let's continue with the equipment. So number 2 is gonna be equipment and materials. Since this is a training, of course, we will have, you remember the sub-activities of this main activity, we are going to have training material. So 2.1 can be the training materials. And my unit will be item based. maybe we have 10 participants. So if we have 10 participants, we will have 10 package of training material. And let's think that we will spend maybe per material 200 euros. So it's gonna make euros, okay? And for sure I will use a computer for this project because I'm going to maybe make some presentations in the training. So 2.2 will be a computer. So it's gonna be one computer on item base, one computer. Maybe one computer is 800 euros. So 800 euros. And if I'm going to make presentations during my lecture, so I will need a projector. Okay. By the way, I'm having in my mind that I have all these budget items coming from my resource planning. So this is going to be also one item. So maybe it's a nice projector. 1,000 euros. So let's look at my subtotal for equipment. It's gonna make 3,800 euros. Okay, and now I'm thinking I should do this training in some place. So let's look at the office cost or project office or office cost. Let's say it's office cost. There will be a classroom for this training. So 3.1, maybe the rent of the classroom. Okay, so it's gonna be monthly base again. And I will need this classroom 2 months because my training, the activity will end in 2 months. So maybe monthly, just for this classroom, maybe I pay 200 euros. So it's gonna make, okay, 400 euros I'm going to pay for this classroom. What about the electricity and the heating cost of this classroom? So let's have it as other, and this is electricity, heating, cost of this office. So I'm going to have it as an item as month again for 2 months, and maybe it is 100 euros. So I will have 200 euros here. So let's look at the subtotal of item 3. Subtotal of office costs. It's gonna make 600 euros. I'm just estimating all these costs, but while you are doing in reality, you have to look for and search for each item the possible realistic costs. Okay, so number 4, maybe you remember, or sub-activity 4 was the evaluation of the training. So on the item of other costs, I can say maybe I will have the evaluation, design and evaluation, and let's say design and evaluation of the questionnaires. Okay, because maybe I will look for, through the questionnaire, using the method of questionnaire, I will look for this stuff, the impact of this activity on the international staff, whether they learned or they increased their knowledge and skills or not. So I'm going to make a questionnaire. So maybe it's on item based. How much participant I have? 10 participants. And for each design and evaluation of the questionnaire, maybe I pay 30 euros. So it's gonna make 300 euros. And now I have to calculate all these, and I will have, this is as a total, the total cost of this activity. Okay, so now let's look at the total cost. We have one item on subtotal on human resource. Okay, we have our second item here, 3,800. The subtotal of office is 600, and the evaluation and design of the questionnaires with the other costs 300. So it makes in total 7,300 euros. This is the estimated cost for this activity. But please keep in mind that you have to look at the, first of all, your resource planning, and then you have to search for each item the possible realistic cost, so you will have a more ideal estimated cost for your activity. Please study the examples and also the key points about preparing project budget from your lecture notes. Thank you very much.